So today I'm going to be talking about a distillery that's been making quite a lot of noise in the bourbon sphere as of late. It's actually Georgia's oldest operating distillery, who have been producing award-winning spirits since 2009. The distillery is 13th Colony. The Double Oaked is the one making a lot of noise. Let's learn more about 13th Colony, what they're all about, and try all the expressions right here on the Mash and Drum. What's up, folks? Welcome back to the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room. I'm Jason C. Like, subscribe, do all the things. Thanks for all the support, WhiskeyTube family. I really appreciate it. So, back in 2009, 13th Colony Distilleries opened in Americus, Georgia. That's right, Americus, which is an amazing name for a city, becoming the oldest operating distillery since Prohibition in the state. Story goes, it began as a group of friends making spirits as holiday gifts for their families and loved ones. That eventually led to 13th Colony and a decade-long dream of distilling their own by sourcing local and regional materials whenever possible. Everything from using corn from their own private farm and water from the oldest aquifer in the Southeast. So who's making this stuff? Their master distiller is Graham Arthur. He started in the culinary world after graduating from Le Cordon Bleu College of Culinary Arts in Atlanta, Georgia. He set out on a 12-year journey of flavor exploring by working in notable southern restaurants in Atlanta, Georgia, and Charleston, South Carolina. He then joined the U.S. Coast Guard and worked as a cook for part of the time as well. He ended up at 13th Colony and uses the approach of a highly trained chef who's consistently looking for harmony in the taste of his whiskey. So, a chef that served in the U.S. Coast Guard, that's pretty freaking cool. So what we have here are 3 bottles from 13th Colony, including the bourbon, rye, and double oaked. As I mentioned, the double oaked is getting all the publicity, and we will get to that one, but let's see how the bourbon and the rye are, which are 2 expressions I haven't tasted yet. So the first thing that usually strikes anyone looking at the 13th Colony bottles is the shape. Obviously, it's very similar to the Old Forester birthday bourbon. I have a bottle of it right here, so if you look at the shape, the 13th Colony is actually slightly taller, and the birthday bourbon's a little bit more rounded as it comes down. I think the neck shape's a little bit different, so it's similar, but not exactly the same. So the bourbon is bottled at 95 proof with a mash bill of 70% corn, 21% rye, and 9% malted barley. I know folks sometimes see 21% rye, they automatically think it's Ross and Squibb, but they're 75, 21, and 4. This bottle in particular is aged 4+ years, and the price is only $35 to $40, which is a really competitive price. One other thing I love about this bourbon so far is the color. I mean, that is dark for a 4+ year old bourbon. Pretty dark. Let's go into the nose. Man, my immediate reaction is cinnamon coated almonds or cinnamon coated nuts. Some sort of like cinnamon that you get. Those things they used to have in the mall and at like fairs, those cinnamon nuts that they used to sell. Oh my God. Completely just reminds me of that. Man, a lot of brown sugar here. This is pretty rich. It's very sugary sweet on the nose. I feel like anyone that smelled this would really kind of dig the sweet flavors, maybe a little bit of maple syrup too. A lot of sweet flavors. A lot of sweet flavors here. All right, let's give it a go. Man, a lot more of the same on the palate. Very sweet. A little bit of spice, very approachable. Even getting kind of like a dark fruit note in there too. But it's mainly very desserty. This is absolutely delicious. I think there is a tinge of like a crafty note. Like you can maybe tell a little bit that it's not a Kentucky made bourbon, especially when you're looking at the color at 4+ years old. Generally, you don't see this type of color on a bourbon, only 4+ years. Now, this has a lot of sweetness to it. There might be a tinge of a kind of a crafty, youthful like note to it, but it's really not that prevalent at all. Again, this is a first pour. I don't know if that'll come out more or disappear a little bit further as this bottle opens up. But man, it is sugary sweet. Man, just pecans, molasses, pecan, say what you want. This could go up against some really highly touted, cheaper bourbons in that price point, I think. I think it's that good. It's very approachable, very sweet. I think anybody would like that one. That's really good. All right, That makes me excited to try the rye. Let's go to the rye next. So the rye whiskey uses a toasted French oak spiral finish, also 95 proof with a mash bill 96% rye and 4% malted barley. So just a bit different than the 95.5 you see everywhere else. This is also aged 4+ years, also about 35 to 40 bucks. Let's dive in. The rye spice is extremely prevalent. Way more herbal. It's like a combination of like cinnamon mint together. It's sweet, but a little bit savory. I still get like that brown sugar that I was getting on the bourbon. I also get a slight milk chocolate in it too. Not dark chocolate, I'm gonna say milk chocolate, but that spice is extremely forward. It's a little bit savory, but a little bit sweet as well. So let's give it a try. It came off a lot sweeter on the palate than I thought it was going to. I was waiting for like this onslaught of very savory spice from the rye. And some of that is there, but it's also very balanced out with some sweetness. Yeah, way sweeter on the palate than I was getting on the nose. This actually comes in with a really nice rye forward spice in the front of the palate. Then as this gets back further, get a little bit of a dark fruit note, little honey, little raisin. Then it kind of kicks into like the little hint of chocolate. And then it finishes with just some really nice spice. Man, when I smelled it, I was like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like this. But the palate definitely was a lot better than I thought. Yeah, just a combination of sweet, savory, I think really balances this out. It's a really nice rye. And for the money, for 35 to 40 bucks, I mean, I'd be willing to try this all day long. Kind of comparing it to the bourbon is definitely a lot sweeter. I think if you like more spice in your whiskeys, the rye is gonna be where you wanna go because it also does carry some of that sweetness that the bourbon has. Just a little bit spicier, a little bit mint forward, a little bit more savory as well. All right, the monster, the double oaked. All right, the 13th Colony Double Oaked Bourbon, a cask strength release at 135.3 proof, aged 9 years, with 2 of those years being in a second barrel. Also finished with a toasted maple wood. This one was pretty limited and got a lot of fanfare on whiskey blogs, Reddit, secondary market. Now retail for this was about 90 bucks, but I know folks were selling this once the popularity got out at somewhere around 350 to 400, even 450 bucks. I'll tell you something right now. If I tried this last year, so this came out I think in 2022, and if this came out and I got to try it in 2022, it may have been my whiskey of the year. It was that good when I tried it. It's really one of those whiskeys that whenever I go back to it, I get something different. First of all, look at the color of it. I mean, you can't see through it. It looks like Coca-Cola. It's crazy, crazy dark. What am I getting on this today? The nose is just pure molasses. I mean, it's pecan pie on the nose to me. There's also like a smoky, meaty quality to it, where you're almost getting like a bacony type smoke. It's like a little bit meaty, a little bit savory as well. Oh my gosh. This thing is all over the place. This might be the best double oak product I've ever tasted. I mean, that's saying a lot. I've tasted a lot of double oak products. This thing is just insane. It's insane. It's on another level. Oh my God. Then the flavor of it. It's just all encompassing. It's all over the place. This just lights up your entire palate. I mean, you got sweet over here, you have savory over here, you have smoky, there's meaty, there's spicy, there's sweet. This thing is everywhere. It is everywhere. And you know, me being a reviewer and tasting all this stuff, this is gonna really depend on your palate, what you pick up. You know, I'll be honest with you guys. There's so much stuff going on in this glass. It's almost hard to summarize exactly like what I am tasting. Let's do another sip here. Oh my gosh. Thick, rich, oaky, not overly oaky. I mean, this is a chocolate pecan pie with bacon on top. That is the best way I could describe it. It's got like a little bit of a Jack Daniel's Coy Hill thing going on, where it just tastes like you're tasting like whiskey extract. You know, it's just so thick and rich and viscous and so flavorful and dense. It coats the palate. This thing is an absolute beast. An absolute beast. I mean, I might throw it in my whiskey of the year this year to see how it does for 2023. It's that good. I don't know if this thing is gonna be an annual release or how many times it's gonna be coming out with this, but it's an absolute monster of a whiskey. That is so desserty in a glass, but also, like I said, a little bit smoky, a little meaty. It just has all the things that you want in a double oak product, but like to the 28,000th level. It's incredible. All right, quick recap. So when it comes to all three expressions, really, the double oak is obviously gonna be a little bit of a unicorn right now until they release more of it. The bourbon, on the other hand, is, I'm not sure what the distribution is, but I would go on their website, see where there is a store near you where you'll be able to find this one. But I think people will absolutely love this bourbon. I think it's very sweet, very approachable. The price is right, it's 95 proof. It's got a lot of great flavors going on for the proof point and for the age. The rye is on a very similar level to me. I think more people will like the bourbon, but if you're a rye person, you like spice, you like savory, but you also like a lot of sweet, then the rye is gonna be where you wanna go. Even if you went with both bottles, I mean, what the most you're looking at is what, maybe $70, $80 the most, if it's $40 a bottle. And I still think for those prices, these two are really worth trying. All right, everybody, hope you enjoyed this look at 13th Colony. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that subscribe button below. Please hit the like button. If you haven't yet, find me on Instagram, find me on Twitter. Let me know down in the comments what you think about these, if you've had them yet, if you've gotten to try this double oaked. And as I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share with. Cheers to 13th Colony, and I'll see you next time right here on the Mash and Drum. Cheers, folks.